Rock and Roll Geek Show 902.
Still rocking after all these years.
This is the story of my rock and roll butler.
This is it, the show that started it all. Often imitated, but never equal. From San Francisco, USA, online since 2004. It's the one and only Rock and Roll Geek Show. With the original Rock and Roll Geek, Michael Butler.
Welcome to the Rock and Roll Geek Show. My name is Michael Butler. Thanks a lot for joining me. I really appreciate it. Today is Wednesday, January 30th, 2019, and it's 8 o'clock p.m. when I'm recording this episode, and I have on the line with me my good friend and roving reporter, Casey Crenshaw. How you doing, Casey?
I'm super great. Couldn't be better. How you doing, Michael?
I am likewise.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Well, Casey got the ball rolling last week or 2 weeks ago when he called the Eddie Trunk Show. I've been asking people to, I made a passing comment on Mad at Dad to do some Baba Booey stuff, to call Eddie Trunk Show and stuff like that. And there's several, and say Rock and Roll Geek catchphrases or Mad at Dad catchphrases. So some of the catchphrases are... Let me take a sip of this fine Tecate. Well, speaking of that, I'll take a sip.
Of course.
Super great, couldn't be better. What are other things? Horrible, putrid, stench-filled death.
I feel like good. Glad to hear it is one that's
a good
kind of
one
the
too.
response to your
That's right.
super great. It's usually the one the callers do.
Yes, that's right. There's others.
There's several ways to pay.
That's right. So you can either donate to the show, which is very appreciated. It keeps the lights on, and without your donations, the show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death.
Yeah, that'd be a good one if someone could get that on Eddie Trunk.
Yes, horrible, putrid, stench-filled death is a good one. Well, you can donate to the show. You can click my Amazon link, but if you're really too cheap or too broke to donate to the show, you can call the Eddie Trunk Show and contribute that way, like Casey did 2 weeks ago. I'll replay Casey's cut. I'm having Casey on here because we're going to do a track by track of the new Jetboy album, by the way. So, some things to get to before that. Have you heard the new Jetboy album, Casey?
I have. I listened to it 2 times through, maybe.
I was camping the other night at Bodega Bay. I was at Crab Fest, this big kayaker thing up in Bodega Bay, and I was asleep.
Were they playing Crab Fest?
No, but I was asleep, and my phone went off, and it was Casey texting me, telling me I should do a track by track of the new Jetboy.
Yeah.
And
I feel it. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I feel like the listeners would like to hear, an insider's look at it. I feel like it might be a different type of judgment than maybe just your average listener.
Oh, my phone's ringing. The credit card company can't answer that one.
No, don't want that.
So, and I figured that I didn't really want to hear the new Jetboy because, quite frankly, my feelings were kind of hurt that Billy didn't ask me to be back in the band. People think that when I got kicked out of Jetboy on the Rock and Roll, or on Good Clean Fun, way back in 2009 or something like that.
I think that was on the Rock and Roll Geek Show.
Well, one or the other, either one.
According to Wikipedia,
I think
it was on your own. It was on your own podcast.
I think it was on Good Clean Fun. That's my own podcast that I did with Jasper.
Right.
Anyway, people think that when I got kicked out, I said fuck those guys, and I don't ever want to see them or have anything to do with them again. But actually, in reality, I really liked playing in that band. I had some good times in that band, and we were on an upward trajectory when I got kicked out of that band. I got kicked out for probably stupid things that I did, like sitting in Alice Cooper's wheelchair, holding Cold Ethel in my arms.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
While that was a very fun thing. It was wrong for me to do, and it made Jetboy look bad. Anyway, Jetboy has been through several bass players in the past year, I think, and
I think they have a different bass player on each video they have out. And I think they have 3 of them. Or maybe it's like the video and then there's a live bass player and then the new bass player.
So in reality, I wanted to be asked back to play with Jetboy, and I was kind of hurt. My feelings were kind of hurt that Billy didn't ask me back. So
did you ask to be back in?
No, I didn't.
No? Didn't want it that bad?
Well,
it's nice to be wanted, I suppose.
Exactly. I mean,
you would like to be courted.
I don't know. I would like to have been asked. But anyway, so I didn't think, and then I figured, the feeling I had in my head was I'd probably trash the album and burn bridges with Billy because Billy plays in the Butlers with me, and that probably wouldn't be a very smart thing for me to do, to review the new Jetboy album. And then Casey texted me, and I thought about it. And said, well, why don't I? Well, no, I didn't really think. I still was against it. But then I got a copy of the record from Jetboy's record label.
Frontier
Records. Yeah, I got a download. They sent me a download link to it with a promo. They sent me a promo link. And then I said, well, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe I should just give it an honest review, and if I like it, let the chips fall where they may. And I figured I would ask Billy Rowe. I said, Billy. I texted Billy, and Billy and I text all the time, like Eddie Trunk texts with Nikki Sixx.
Right, you got Billy Rowe.
Yeah.
Right.
And I said, hey man, your label sent me a copy of the new record. Would you mind if I reviewed it? Well, first of all, yeah. And before I texted Billy, I texted Casey, all right, smart ass, why don't you come on and do a track by track with me? That way, if I trash it, Casey might trash it, and Casey's closer friends with Billy than I am. And that way, Casey will be in just as much hot water as me.
Yeah, well, that's why I said I don't want to get involved with it. But I actually don't think I'm going to trash the album because I've listened to it, and there's a lot of good stuff on it.
I don't think I'm going to trash it either, to be honest with you. But
I don't think you will.
But anyway, I've heard it once through. But anyway, I asked Billy, and Billy said, "Well, why don't you let me come on the show?" And
Call him up.
So Billy's going to come on tomorrow, and we're going to promote the record. So I'm going to do a track by track of the new Jetboy album with Casey Crenshaw. And tomorrow, Billy's going to come on the Rock and Roll Geek Show and promote the record, and we'll just talk rock, and maybe I'll ask him why he didn't ask me back in the band. I don't know.
You should definitely ask him that. I think
that
I wish that he could hear your review before he came on the air, but I get what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't want him to hear the review before he comes on the air. I'm not going to post this until after he comes on. I'm not going to trash the record but if I don't like the songs, I'm going to say I don't like the song. So.
Hey, like Eddie Trunk says, you gotta talk honestly about this stuff.
Yeah, there's nobody that talks more honestly than Eddie Trunk. He's like, he shoots from the hip.
Yeah, every time. He'll bash. He was bashing the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame the other day after your. We'll get to that.
I've only heard his Grammy rant probably only about 20 times.
Yeah, well, it's like about it's limited topic when you're in his sort of thing of hair metal. He doesn't dive into killer classic rock, good 70s rock and roll, and try to kind of make the bridge for people between 80s metal and 70s rock. He'll talk a little bit about Aerosmith, but you're limited. You're handcuffed when it's just like all you can talk about is LA Guns or Britney Fox or Stryper. It's sort of, I love all that stuff, but there's really, when you kind of boil it down, there's probably about less than 20 really great bands from that era. So there's not a lot to talk about. And
I've only heard him do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame rant probably about 60 times.
Yeah. Well, to their credit, he is a voter.
Yeah, and he calls it like he shoots from the hip.
That's what it is. He calls it like he sees it.
He's not afraid of them.
Not afraid of consequence.
So anyway, Casey called Eddie Trunk's show a couple weeks ago, and because Eddie Trunk did his top albums of 2019, like all of us did, and he took.
I actually, the funny thing about that was I had called in right away, and I just made up a topic. I said I was going to ask Eddie about the Brutalists, and then I was on hold for an hour. I just had it on speakerphone while I was working. And the guy came back on. He's like, "Hey, Eddie's only gonna do top 5, so you just want to call back tomorrow?" And I'm like, "No, I got a top 5." And so I just kind of pulled it out of my ass there, because I was going on next. So I had like 3 minutes to scribble down my top 5.
You had been trying to call his show for a few days, and there's sometimes he won't have callers. Callers will call in and he won't ever get to the caller. So,
or sometimes it's just busy. I called in 2 minutes before the show started, and that seemed to work well. But I was on hold for most of the show.
He's either busy talking to John 5,
right? He's texting Nikki 6,
or Ace Frehley, and telling his many great stories over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. So finally, he got to Casey. And refresh everybody's memory. Here is Casey's call to the Eddie Trunk show.
Don't know, what they could do today, but that's neither here nor there if it's a good record or not. So we just created some awareness for him that maybe helps him out.
Yeah, Eddie Trunk helped the band out. That's what he does. That's his thing. He helps bands. It creates some awareness
every time. That's how people know about
Casey
Greta.
in San Francisco. Go ahead, Casey.
Eddie, how you doing?
I'm great, man.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm super.
There's one.
Yeah.
Better. Very excited to be on the show. First time.
He's super great. Couldn't be better. First time, long time. I'm going to stop talking over him. I'm back.
That's 3 right off the first sentence.
Exactly.
There.
Casey in San Francisco. Go ahead, Casey.
Eddie, how you doing?
I'm great, man.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm super great. Couldn't be better. Very excited to be on the show. First time, long time.
There you go.
Thank you.
So,
3 right off the top. And Eddie Trunk, of course, thinks he's complimenting him, which he is.
My top 5 for you. Coming in number 5, Hank Von Hell, Rio Turbo Negro fan.
Hank Von, is that really in your top 5?
I've actually haven't even heard the album except for when you reviewed it. It was I was just pulling things out of my. I did like it.
That was a little callback to the Rock and Roll Geek show too. So there's 4.
I'm aware of the band, but I don't know their music all that well. But I've heard nothing but great things about them.
Sure you have.
Yeah, hard rock and kind of punk influenced, but awesome album.
Awesome.
Number 5, LA Guns alum, The Brutalist.
Well, Mick Cripps.
That's right. I told Mick was stoked that I got a Brutalist reference on there. So actually,
did you tell Mick Cripps that you called in Eddie Trunk and mentioned Brutalists?
I did. He said, "Thanks so much, man." He was pumped on it. He said, "You're awesome."
Also with Fireboys, Nigel Mogg on lead vocals. Have you had a chance to hear that?
No, I've never even heard of that. Hold on, I'm going to write that down. It's called The Brutalist?
Yeah, The Brutalist. Mick Cripps. He's not. He hasn't dropped off the face of the earth. He's actually a friend of mine, and he released an awesome.
You and Mick Cripps text each other?
Yeah, he texts me all the time, and I told him that I did that. That I put him on my top 5 of 2018. No, and he replied all caps. That's very cool, thanks. And then he let me know what he did. So he's like, "We got number 28 album of the year and Viva La Rock."
Ooh, I was actually making a joke because Eddie Trunk texts all the rock stars, and you text.
Yeah, so do I. I text you.
Yeah,
and Mick Cripps.
Yes,
and Billy.
All right.
It's kind of 70s pub rock, a little bit, kind of in the vein of Faces, with a little bit. Do you remember the band Japan?
Sure, nothing wrong with any of that.
Yeah, no, great record. It came out earlier in the year, maybe March.
Is that a great record? I've never heard it.
It's a pretty good record, yeah. It is. It's a little bit. I guess that's how I could best describe it. Was like it's kind of Faces and kind of like it's got a little bit of like I don't know, like funk is the right vibe or right word, but it's like it's just kind of grooving. I don't know, but yeah, I dig it. I've listened to it a couple times. Got it on vinyl.
It's a solid record, and they're actually, I think it came out on Cleopatra, and they
have it on vinyl.
I got it on vinyl.
Recording a new album.
I've never even heard of it. What else you got, Casey?
Number 3, same as everyone else. We got Judas Priest. Excuse me, what? This finds the content.
There you go. So now, what happened? Did you choke, or were you laughing, or what happened there?
I was just trying to come up with a reason to like stop mid sentence, and so I could take a drink of something, and so I just made up I choked intentionally, but then I kind of really actually choked when I was trying to fake choke.
Okay. Back that up a little bit.
Excuse me, I did just find the content. Sorry.
Casey, you all right?
You all right,
Yeah,
Casey?
sorry, I had to just take a little swig there. I was kind of cracked voice. Anyways, back to the list. Judas Priest, Firepower. I agree with most of your callers here. I think that's a pretty solid album. Number 2 is just a 7-inch that came out by a band called Wildlife. Actually out of New York, New Jersey, there where you're from.
Which, by the way, doesn't qualify for album if it's just a 7-inch, in my opinion.
It's a piece of vinyl. I don't know. It's an EP album, right?
All right. It's only my rules, but
all right. Yeah, you're probably right.
we're not debating top fives anyway. So
no, we're not.
Awesome band. I think far superior to the Struts. They're a little more punky, but everyone should
Gotta
check
dig
them out.
in.
Wildlife with a Y. WYLDLIFE. They had a full length that came out last year that was amazing. It's a rock, it's punk, it's energy. They look cool. Awesome band. And last but not least, a band called Bad Sports. Also a little bit off the map, but kind of a Cars influence.
you think they sound like the Cars?
Yeah, they got a couple songs like when you get in like around track 4, 5, 6. There's a kind of a pop. Like the Cars kind of have their like poppy, but then there's always one little sort of weird, kind of note or melody in there that makes it just a little quirky. I don't know. It had a Cars vibe to me. I wouldn't say blatantly Cars, but yeah, I mean, I definitely hear it in there.
I played "Don't Deserve Love" on the last Rock and Roll Geek show.
Yeah, that's just a good garage rock song. I want to say it is. The track is called. I'll look it up while you continue on.
Back to the Eddie Trunk call.
Hard rock album. The album is called Constant Stimulation, and I highly recommend that everyone check that album out. It is a underdog, but a great record.
All right, Casey, thank you very much for listening, and thank you for the call. I appreciate that.
Blew him off.
Casey
Got the
with
blow
a number of his selections
going deep.
and sort of off the grid.
Off the
but
grid.
Again, if that's truly
Off the grid being that everybody else called in saying Miles Kennedy and Slash and
Right.
and
That
all-
Miles Kennedy, I don't get it, man. I hate his voice.
Me
I don't
too,
like it
man.
at all.
Me too.
He sounds like, I think I saw Slash with you a couple times, and I've seen him a couple times, and when that bass player would sing, he'd sing a couple songs, and he would just scream, and he sounded cool. I was like, man, why didn't you just have this dude doing it the whole time?
I don't know what people see in that Miles Kennedy guy. I can't stand his voice.
There's people like, right around the late 90s, early 2000s, guys, people just started liking that Creed vocal style, and it never went back to like just a cool, there's no Steven Tyler-esque singers anymore, or Dan McCafferty or anything, just with some
No balls.
attitude, Yeah, balls.
Oh, so what else is Eddie trying? Is he done
what
with
you
you?
loved, maybe you're turning some people onto it. It again, all of this speaks to the enormous challenges that are out there for rock.
He makes himself so fucking important, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's
All
doing
right.
something right.
So anyway, Casey got the ball rolling, which, by the way, thank you, Casey, for doing that. It was really awesome of you to do.
You're quite welcome.
And yesterday I was painting. I remember where I was. I was sitting here painting cutting in the top of a baseboard, painting a wall, and this call. I was listening to Eddie Trunk, and this call came through.
Let's get to Paul in Maryland. Paul's up next on Trunk Nation. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, Eddie, how you doing?
Great, man.
Hey, I was trying to figure out some of these new AC/DC 2019 rumors. AC/DC keeps that closed ship.
And all right, I'm thinking, this is just another call to Eddie Trunk.
Right.
And last week Angus Young called into the Mad at Dad program.
That was amazing. You guys are getting some real star power.
Yeah, he wanted to get you on the show, but I told him I couldn't get you on the show, so we had to.
I'm exclusive to the Rock and Roll Geek Show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, Angus called into the Mad at Dad and talked about the new album and said that Axl was going to be on side 1 and Brian Johnson was going to be on side 2. And so this guy Paul called in to the Eddie Trunk show, and I'm just listening. I'm not thinking anything about it. Then we hear this.
Close ship. But I'm hearing a lot about a possible record that's done. And a side A, Axl, and a side B, Brian.
I'm thinking, uh-oh. And I stop painting and I go, yes, somebody got through.
Yeah,
and Brian
that was
Johnson.
awesome.
And I also heard that playing bass, possibly Michael Butler of Exodus.
And then I heard that, and a smile is going across my face. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
I'm wondering if you've heard any of these rumors yourself.
No. Well, I have not heard anything about Axl, and I have not heard anything
Eddie Trunk falls for it, hook, line, and sinker.
Cliff Williams not playing bass, because all the video or those photos that leaked up in Canada all showed the classic lineup of the band. With
Hey,
Cliff and
can I say
Brian.
something about that
So
too?
Yes.
Cliff was like the one thing that was like a big, huge announcement. He's retiring after the tour. He's done with AC/DC,
right.
So Eddie's whole being baffled that Cliff isn't there, he doesn't seem to really know what's going on in the world of AC/DC, because it was a big deal.
Eddie
It wasn't
Trunk
just
doesn't know what's going on in rock? I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm just shooting from the hip, but
yeah. Well, you
telling it like it is.
You call it like you see it. I know.
Yeah.
You, Paul, are the first I'm hearing about a different bass player and any involvement from Axl.
Was Cliff ever in any of those photos?
No, he was not.
I
remember
that's a good point,
we
wasn't he?
Brian,
I thought he.
Yeah. Well, we saw Phil Rudd. We saw Brian Johnson.
Right.
But
we saw Stevie
rumor is-
and Angus.
yeah. And then I'm
You know
wondering
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't remember if Cliff Williams was in the photos, but we were
Eddie Trunk making it a big debate.
thinking that maybe Cliff Williams doesn't smoke because those guys all smoke and they were out on the deck while Cliff was inside working. Cliff Williams
It's a good comedy, huge comedy.
Oh,
from
huge.
Eddie Trunk.
public about the fact that if AC/DC did anything without Brian, he would no longer be a part of it. He said that at the end. So if Axl's involved, it sounds like Cliff doesn't want to be, because he felt like then it was getting too far away from AC/DC. But let me tell you what I can share with you, Paul.
There you go. Eddie Trunk got a little bit of inside knowledge.
a little bit, yeah.
He was
Yeah,
texting.
he's the one that started that Van Halen rumor,
Yeah.
which Michael
Because-
Anthony's saying
and this
no.
is one of the reasons why I wanted to take calls, because there's so much that went on.
So Eddie Trunk's buying this hook, line, and sinker, by the way. That,
Yeah.
That AC/DC's got a new bass player.
Week and a half.
And Axl's on side 1.
Side
Yeah.
Axl, side
and
Brian.
so many
AB.
people I talk to that I could take a week just running down stuff randomly to you guys. So when things come up, it jogs my memory and like, oh yeah, let me tell you that. Okay, so I have a source that will remain nameless, but a very, very, very well-placed, reliable source regarding AC/DC. I did run into and ask about AC/DC, and he told me, to his knowledge, the album is, like you said, done, that they went to that studio in Canada and made this record, and that what people speculated on, meaning that these were riffs and ideas and it's more of a tribute to Malcolm Young, is true, that Malcolm had a bunch of stuff recorded that they worked off of and sort of
All right, fast forward.
Yeah.
This source also told me that
Source.
Yeah, source.
he doesn't know what they're going to do with
an
this
insider.
record, when and
He's
how
got
it's
moles
going
all
to
over the
come out,
country.
and adds, as far as he was aware and he would know, there is no plans for live shows. Now that could change, but there were no plans at this moment for them to play. But there was a recording done, and they're
Paul
going to
gets
figure
back.
out what they're doing
Paul's
with that.
able to get a word in a second here.
So that's all he told me. He didn't tell me anything about
He's
Axl.
trying to get a word in, but Eddie's taking over the conversation.
On it, he just basically said the guys went in, that they did work off of some stuff that Malcolm had. It is a celebration of Malcolm. There is a record done. And when and how that comes out, they're not sure. And whether they play or not, it's not sure.
Yeah, I heard they're going to reset the clock a little bit.
Reset the clock is a mad at dad term for when you shit your pants.
Ah.
Because we have a pants clock. Because Dave Slush is a computer programmer. He's got some clock that resets every time somebody shits their pants on the show.
Ah, okay.
So that was a little mad at dad thing.
Yeah, I like that.
People like Michael Butler.
Got my name in again.
Who was in Exodus. He's in a AC/DC cover band in the San Francisco area. I think
I'm not, though.
Del Rey.
Dean Del Rey. Got a little Dean Del Rey plug in.
Yeah.
And that they had this side A, side B thing with Axel and Brian, and it just sounded. I just wanted to run that through. So thanks for answering the question. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, none of that I've heard. I've not heard about anything with Axel involvement. I've not heard about any different bass player. I don't know why they would go and get, a random bass player from San Francisco or what have you. I mean, that seems like a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch. Anyway, so I must have so somebody posts clips from Eddie Trunk's show on YouTube. And that clip was on YouTube, and it kind of, I think you might have posted the clip on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook group, which I did not create, but I do approve people.
The clip of, I posted a story about.
Okay. Anyway, somebody posted the YouTube clip, and I must have gotten 10 or 20 emails or texts from everybody who heard a rumor that I was the new bass player for AC/DC.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was so great. I said, I would say my response would be, I can neither confirm nor deny these rumors.
Yeah, in fact, I was thinking about next time I call into the Eddie Trunk show, or whoever does next, whoever can get through, should say that. Like, hey, I spoke with Michael Butler and I asked him flat out.
He would neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, he just said something was big on the horizon and he couldn't say anything more.
Yeah. Anyway, that was Paul Beatty, friend of the Rock and Roll Geek Show, who called. Thank you, Paul Beatty, for doing that. I really appreciate it.
That was nice.
You too can support the Rock and Roll Geek Show by calling Eddie Trunk's volume show on Sirius, which is on from 11 to 1 Pacific time. I would much appreciate it, and
I appreciate it as well.
Yeah, and Casey would appreciate it too. So there you go. Thank you for getting the ball rolling, Casey.
Of course, my pleasure.
30 minutes into this, we haven't got to the Jetboy track by track yet, which we will. But I got an audio. There was Eddie Trunk's show today. He made a response. There was a big news story about Ace Frehley.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the new. I'll let you set this bit up. This is your bit.
Well, evidently Ace Frehley had a flip out, and first I think Gene Simmons made some press announcements saying, that these guys are welcome to come pop in and jam a song or two if they happen to be in the arena, but there's not going to be any sort of hard invite back for Ace or Peter. And Ace Frehley kind of blew his top and had a response.
There's not going to be any hard. They're not going to be back because they got fired and they've already. There's 3 strikes. You don't get 3 chances in life.
That's what it was. Right.
So he pretty much badmouthed Ace and Peter, and Eddie Trunk went on about a 45-minute.
Yeah, he went on a tangent about it. That same show, I think, wasn't
it? Today's show, it was talking about it. So,
okay.
All right, set up this clip because I got a clip from Macho Man, Randy Savage. Is that Randy Savage?
That's right, the Macho Man. The clip has a setup in it. I already pre-set it up for you.
All right, there's a little Casey podcast humor coming your way, friends. Here we go. Here we go.
And now, a reading by the Macho Man of Ace Frehley's rant on Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, as suggested by super listener Rod Ula.
Rod Ula? Really?
That's what it said on the Facebook page. He's the one that suggested it should be read. It sounded like a pro wrestler's rant.
Was that on the Rock and Roll Geek Facebook page?
the one that you did not create, but you do support.
Okay. I'll have to check that one. All right. Well, for Rodola, your request is fulfilled by Casey Crenshaw.
It was actually a comment that he made. It was a feud that was sounding like pro wrestling.
All right. Well, here you go. Macho Man.
Gene, your memory is really incorrect. Yeah, I was never fired from Kiss. I quit twice.
Is that how Macho Man talks?
Yeah, he would talk really like quiet. You never heard the Macho Man talk?
Not really.
Oh, well, I guess different generation. He was the most awesome wrestler of the '80s.
Oh, do you watch reruns of that stuff with your son?
Oh yeah, me and Sonny watch YouTube clips all the time.
All right.
I love '80s pro wrestling.
And your son loves '80s pro wrestling too?
Sonny loves the Macho Man. He loves dropping an elbow on me off the couch.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not 3 times on my own free will, yeah. Because you and Paul are control freaks, untrustworthy, and were too difficult to work with, yeah. Your slanderous remarks about my bad habits over the years has cost me millions of dollars, yeah. And now that I'm over 12 years sober, you're saying I can't be trusted to play a whole night show? Well, that's exactly what I've been doing for the past 12 years, yeah, with different configurations of the Ace Frehley band. To you and Paul's dismay. I'm also the most successful solo artist to ever come out of the original Kiss lineup, yeah, I'm proud of it. You and Paul have tried to derail my solo career multiple times over the years, unsuccessfully, yeah. I've tried to be nice and friendly by inviting you and Paul to perform on my last albums for E1 Music, yeah. Give each of you guys one of my prized
E1 Music, like that's such a huge label.
Yeah, he had to work a plug into his rant.
and Les Paul 59 models. But today's comments have made me realize you're just an asshole and a sex addict who's being sued by multiple women, and you're just trying to sweep it all under the carpet, yeah.
Is Macho Man spitting into the microphone when he's talking?
Oh yeah, any of your listeners who know who the Macho Man are going to think this is the greatest Macho Man impression of all time.
All right.
Icing on the cake was when you groped my wife and propositioned her in Los Angeles at the Capitol Records building behind my back, yeah. When I was trying to help you out.
He always says
your
yeah.
vault
Like
experiences, which I only found out about several weeks later, yeah. She was planning on pursuing a suit against you, but I told her to call it off. Well, now the gloves are off, yeah. After your terrible comments today, I'm thinking this may really be the end of the road tour for you guys, yeah. Without a complete and heartfelt apology, an offer to give me my old job back in removing Tommy from the throne that I created, yeah. This shit will hit the fan, and there'll be no one stopping it. It's on, oh yeah.
There you go. A reading
There you go.
from Macho Man. Did your girlfriend Natalie? Does she hear you making these recordings?
Oh, probably. She's upstairs putting Sonny to bed, so I'm downstairs. I'm sure they can hear me. They probably have no idea what I'm doing. I sound like a maniac. Because I did it once and then it didn't record either, so I had to do it again.
She didn't come down and ask you what you're doing?
No, she knows I'm down here doing a podcast with you, and I said I had to go record something important for the show.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there you go. A reading from Macho Man.
You'll have to look up a Macho Man video on YouTube.
Doesn't he wear the big sunglasses? Like Elvis sunglasses?
He was the snap into a Slim Jim guy.
Oh, that's right. He wears a cowboy hat too, right?
He did later on in his career, yes. That was when he became the Macho King.
Oh, he changed the name from Macho Man to Macho King.
Well, he won the King of the Ring tournament back in, I want to say, probably 90, 91.
Does Natalie watch wrestling with you guys?
No, I can get her to watch some of the interviews, some of the old interviews every once in a while, but I don't even get to watch it. I don't even like the new wrestling, but the old stuff from the 80s I have fond memories of. And I love watching those old interviews on YouTube. When you get off the show, look up Macho Man, just interview. He's great. It's amazing.
And before we get into the Jetboy track by track, I got one more audio comment from a friend of the show, Zach Erlocker.
Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm super great. Couldn't be better. How you doing, Casey?
I'm super great. Couldn't be better.
Right.
This is Rock and Roll Zach calling from the frozen wasteland of Michigan. It's 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and it snowed every day for the last 5 days.
Nice.
So I'm up to my ass in snow, and I was listening to your podcast, the one where you interviewed Richie Rano from Stars.
Oh, yeah, did you hear that one?
I did hear that one. That was a goodie.
Yeah, Richie Rano, good guy. I like that guy. They're, well, you know about it. Everybody knows they're.
He signed my amp. He played my amp the last time he was in San Francisco and signed it for me.
Yes, and we went down and we brought him a Marshall head down to NAM. You came down with us, didn't you?
I've never been to NAM, but that Marshall head. So it's when they played. I think San Francisco. For some reason I feel like they played at the bottom of the hill, but I could be mistaken.
No, it was Grant and Green, or it was on Grant.
It was Grant and Green. Yes. And he borrowed the JCM 800, which is funny enough that we're doing a Jetboy track by track because Jetboy's own Fern Rod
souped it up for you.
Yeah, he was borrowing my amp and then decided to claim it as his own, and then he was gonna mod it out for me. He got halfway through it, so I just have a hole in the face of my amp now from an incomplete mod job. That he didn't ask if I wanted. He just decided to do it. He's like, dude, I'm going to mod out the amp for us. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, for us.
For us. Yeah. I'm like, yeah. A little bit of a shyster, that Fern Rod.
All right. Back to you, Zach.
Thank you for doing that. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
I then went back to the old podcasts you did, the panel session. You talked about their concept album where rock and roll music is illegal. I thought that was fantastic. It's just like my rock opera.
That's right. Zach put out a record, and it was like a rock opera, and it was a similar concept.
Anyways,
it was just called Zach or what?
Now you're putting me on the spot because I don't remember what the CD is called.
Well, maybe we should review it after the Jetboy album.
I have to look for it.
Okay, well, another night.
Bringing Stars back to my attention. I bought a couple of their CDs. I hope they will play in Michigan. I would love to go see them out in Detroit, or there's a club there outside Auburn Hills called Callahan's. Gets a lot of these kind of acts. They sound like a fantastic band, and I would love to see them live.
Yeah, you
so
can't
thanks
go
a lot,
wrong.
Michael. I've sent you some money via PayPal.
Ooh, I gotta
Take
look.
care and stay frosty, but not too frosty.
All right, stay frosty.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Stay warm. Zach, and thank you for the donation. I gotta look and see how much it was, but thank you so much for the donation, Zach.
Stay Frosty's another good one to get on Eddie Trunk.
That's right. Yeah, you can call and you say "Stay Frosty." That's a good one.
That's a good sign off. Yeah.
Yes. Stay frosty, Eddie. All right, you ready to do a track by track of the new Jetboy called "Born to Fly"?
Yeah.
All right, let me look for it. So there are 12 songs on the CD. Let me see if I can find the press release sent to me by Frontiers Record. Let me look for it here. Let me see. John, the guy's name. All right. Let's see. Okay. Jetboy's new album, Born to Fly, out today via Frontiers Music SRL. And a new video for Broken Hearted Daydream. Reviews. Jetboy is creating new music again after years of gigging and playing the same old songs. They're excited and their fans will be too. This is an album for them. LA Weekly. Talking Rock, my friend Mark Striegel. Jetboy, he's got a podcast called Talking Metal, and he's also got a podcast called Talking Rock. He reviews it. Jetboy have taken the sound they created 30 years ago and taken it to another level than Maximum Volume Music, a band who knows exactly what they're doing. Jetboy have finally unleashed their long-awaited album Born to Fly today via Frontiers Music. Additionally, the band has revealed a new video for the song Broken Hearted Daydream. All right, found it. Okay, it goes on to give a
whole spiel,
little bio about Jetboy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Jetboy lineup, current Jetboy lineup: Mickey Finn, lead vocals and harmonica; Fernie Rod, rhythm and lead guitar and vocals; Billy Rowe, rhythm and slide guitar and vocals; and Scott Richards on bass, who's the guy who filled in for me in the Butlers once because I had a Featherwitch gig. And Al Serrato on drums.
Have you met that Scott guy? You've met him before, right? He was in Thaddeus Gonzalez.
I met him when he was in Thaddeus Gonzalez. I got nothing against that guy. Although
No, he's actually a really nice guy.
Although I'm jealous of him being in Jetboy.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do?
Go. The new Jetboy album. So there's 12 songs on the album. The Rock and Roll Geek scoring system is if I like it or Casey likes it, give it a +1. If it's okay, give it a half. And if I don't like it at all, I give it a 0. And we tallied them all up. So if we like every song out of 12, it'll be a 12 out of 12.
Now, will you be keeping my score as well as yours? So we'll have a score comparison at the end?
That's correct.
Okay.
All right. First song is called Beating the Odds. Beating the Odds. All right, right there, I'm going to guess that's a Fernie Rod riff.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's pretty, you can definitely tell which ones are Billy songs and which ones are Ferns for the most part.
I can tell Billy songs right off the bat. Because
I can tell when I know a Billy song for sure, and then there's a couple I've been like, I wonder if that's a Billy song or not.
Yeah, I feel there's a couple of them that I can't tell either, but the ones that sound, well, we'll get to those. But
yeah.
First song, Beating the Odds. Decent enough riff. More of a heavy metal riff,
which I'm a fan of. I love metal, so I like this song. I think this is one of the stronger songs on the album.
Then the bass breaks down, or bass comes out of it.
Lost in the shuffle and lost in my mind, tossing and turning with no
Nick's kind of doing a Rob Halford thing on this.
Yeah, that's right. It is. It's a little bit like one of the new songs on the last Priest album.
Yeah.
This is definitely a Fernie Rod song because when I was in Jetboy, this is exactly the kind of stuff that Fernie came up with.
I like it.
There's no giving in. We'll keep fighting the odds. Fuck the world, you can't stop me. Beating the odds, eat my dust as I climb. Broken these promises, words that mean nothing. Searching for someone to trust.
All right, what do you give this one?
I think that's a cool song, man. I give it a +1. I like Billy's sort of slide thing he does there, and when it goes in the chorus, that sort of, and it's got, I don't know, it's reminiscent of. It's got a little Judas Priest, a little Wild Hearts, a little Cinderella in there. I like it. I'm +1.
All right, a little bit more.
Look for the strength to continue, 'cause no one can stop me. There's no giving in. We'll keep fighting the odds.
That's cool. That's cool right there.
All right, I'm giving it a half.
Okay.
This is not one of my favorite songs on this album. It's decent enough. I don't think there's enough hooks in it for my style, but
sure.
I'm sure it's a fun song. It's probably one of the funner songs for them to play.
Yeah, it's the barn burner, as they say.
It's a barn burner. It's exactly. It's an album opener that it's a rocker, as they say. And it's Billy. Billy's got the Wild Hearts scratch, which is a Wild Hearts thing, which is what we did a lot in American Heartbreak.
Oh, yeah.
And Billy's a great slider. I'll say this, Billy is one of the best rhythm guitar players in the world, in my opinion.
And you know what? Billy's a pretty damn good lead guitar player, too. I mean, his leads, he's a clean player. You know what I mean? Like, he's good at guitar.
Yeah, Billy's great.
Yeah, I mean, when he does those Def Leppard solos or American Girl when the Butlers are playing, he fucking rips that shit up. He's but it's meticulous, and it's, he's like Fern's a different type of lead guitar player.
And Fernie's a great guitar player, too.
I get why Fern's the lead guitar player, but Billy's can play lead good.
But Billy plays slide really well as well. Anyway, it's not one of my favorites. I'll give it a half. So there you go. All right. Second song, Born to Fly, which was their first video, which I already played on the Rock and Roll Geek Show, and I said it was a catchy tune. This one is definitely a Billy Rowe song.
For sure.
it sounds a little like American. Billy, in American Heartbreak, before Casey came into the band and started contributing to the songwriting, the songs were written either by, I would come in with a complete song, or Billy would come in with a riff, and I would come in and I would maybe come up with a chorus hook or something, and Lance would always write the verses pretty much. And Casey came in and wrote some complete songs himself. But this would be one of the kind of songs that Billy Rowe would bring to the table. So I know this is a Billy song.
This is definitely a Billy song. There's another, we'll get to it later in the album, but there's one that's just, I think their newest single is,
that's American Heartbreak.
Yeah.
All right. Born to Fly. AC/DC drum thing.
Yeah. Billy has like a specific pattern he loves with drums.
Yeah. It's Phil Rudd is Billy's. Billy loves Phil Rudd and wants all the songs to sound like Phil Rudd.
Some days it seems so easy.
The other thing Billy likes to do is start off with just a guitar and drums, which is
there's a recipe that he's a fan of.
And ACD beginning. Billy likes to write "You Shook Me All Night Long."
Yeah.
It's
a good song.
That's got to be Billy's favorite AC/DC song, because Billy loves to write songs in that style, which is a great tune. Can't blame him for trying that.
Yeah, from start to finish, then we do it again. Yeah, but all the time, the roads are
catchy riff,
and something's holding me down.
Good guitar tone.
Big confusion.
Cliff Williams bass line, one note.
Which way to go? It's time to kick things into overdrive. It's time to take a leap of faith to the unknown. I wanna fly and touch the sky. I wanna circle round and do it again. And when I die, just please remember I did it now until the very end. Some things in life will be uncertain.
That bass has not stopped playing the D once.
Right. But still we try to find the answer. We got to know which way the road will bend. I wanna fly and touch the sky.
All right, what do you give this one?
You know, I'm like torn about this song. I like it. I think it's cool, but I do find myself ready to move on to the next song. And even when the single kind of came out, I think I'm gonna give this one a very high half. It's a good
let's
tune.
hear the breakdown here.
Yeah, let's hear the breakdown. Yeah, I might change it.
Can't stop us. You just can't stop us. 'Cause we were born, yeah. We were born to
Solo, Fernie, take it away, Fernie. All right, now what were you saying about it? Did you give it a half?
Well, I don't know. I'm really torn. I think I'm gonna change it to +1. I do like the song musically. I think it's a really kick-ass tune. I think
breakdown. Got the breakdown.
Yeah.
That's American Heartbreak right there. And AC/DC. All right, so you changed your vote from a half to a 1.
Yeah, I'm going 1. I think that like
just for the record, in case Billy listens to this, right?
No. I mean, I I'm sure Billy will listen to it. Hi, Billy. I'm gonna give it. Hey, I'm gonna shoot from the hip, as Eddie Trunk would say.
Get a call
musically, it kicks ass. I think there's like a little thing that catches my ear that bothers me about it a little bit in the chorus. It's like I'm not loving their backing vocals are weird in the chorus. It's like, and it like sticks. It jumps out at me for some reason. You probably haven't even noticed it, but
they're going for the female.
Well, there's no high harmony in the gang vocals, and they're doing this thing where it's like and it's kind of but it's kind of just blending in with mix lead vocal, and it's like it pops out at me, and it kind of bothers me a little bit.
Let me hear that.
into overdrive. It's time to take a leap of faith to the unknown. I wanna fly and touch go round and do it again. And when I die,
I think the other thing about this song, which, you know, I think it's an awesome tune, but I think I also feel like I knew exactly what was going to happen from within the first 10 seconds of the song. You know, I could kind of envision how, knowing that it's a Billy song and have written so many songs with Billy, it was like, I knew there was going to be a breakdown after the solo. It's going to go into the big final chorus with the crashes going, you know, the building of the drums. It's a very well structured and, you know, it's a Mutt Lange-esque production and arrangement.
Yeah.
So there was nothing surprising about it for me, which is why I was like sort of torn between the 1 and the half.
So you're on record with a 1.
But I'm going on record with a 1. I think it's a good song.
All right, I'll give it a +1 as well.
All right.
All right, next song, Old Dog, New Tricks. All right, listen to that. Listen to that riff. All right.
Right.
All right, now listen to the first song.
Okay. No, I know. It's
I would have suggested that they did it in a different key because it's the exact same riff.
And maybe a different track arrangement, you know.
Put it towards the end.
I mean, I get it's setting up for the ballad, the next song, but
this is another Fernie Rod song, by the way.
Yeah.
My guess. All right. Old Dog, New Tricks. That's a Mickey Finn song title for sure.
He writes all the lyrics, right?
I actually like this one a little bit better than the first song. Good slide and it's got the harmonica too. When the lights go down, you got to whisper in her ears the poetry of love.
Before you hit high,
that's all you need to hear.
You think you know it all, and be prepared to fall. Oh yeah. You think you know it all, unless you want to fall. You better learn a thing or two. Sometimes love is hard as a rock. You got to know when to drop it like it's hot. It takes a train down.
Sometimes love is hard as a rock.
Drop it like it's hot.
You got to know when to drop it like it's hot.
To know when to hit. Sometimes it takes an old dog to teach you new tricks. Now listen.
All right, there you go. What do you give that one?
Well, I think I'm giving that one a half. I feel like if that's in the set, it's going to be one of those songs that sort of falls off the set over time without any sort of fuss about it. You know what I mean? Sometimes songs they're cool, but then you never play them again. The best part of that song is when it goes into it has kind of a vibe change when it goes into the chorus. It goes from that kind of shuffle thing to just a hard rock moment, which I think is cool. But yeah, I'm going half. I'm not that. Whatever with that song.
I'll give it a half too. It's a Fernie Rod song. It's a classic, pretty much a classic Jetboy because it's got the harmonica, which is kind of what set Jetboy apart from the bands back then. Although I'm not an authority on bands back then, but Mickey Finn's harmonicas parts were all, and Billy's slide and Mickey's harp kind of set them apart from all the poser bands back. Sunset Strip days.
I like the harmonica too. He's good at it, and whatever. The song's fine. It's not.
Yeah, I'm giving it a half.
Yeah.
So far, we won't tell him up just yet. All right, number 4, The Way That You Move Me. Now I couldn't figure out who wrote this one either. So listen, is this the ballad?
I think this is the ballad. Yeah.
Jetboy should, if they would have put this one out when they were signed, when all those bands were having hits with power ballads, they might be rich.
You never know.
Because this is as good as any of those other power ballads back in the 80s.
I need to hear this one again.
The Way That You Move Me.
It's like Cinderella. There's a Cinderella song that's kind of got the same setup.
And it's also got a little patience.
Yes, it does.
I'll be walking the streets at night.
Little patience.
But Billy's playing a 12 string. I know that's Billy playing that, and he's playing it great.
Yes, it is.
I like the Fernie's little tasty little.
Yeah.
I like this one so far. Not my style, but
yeah, I hear what you're saying.
The road I've been walking,
the raw.
in town, I should have taken its toll on me. I can't wash the bitterness from my mouth. I can't seem to break free. But I keep pushing for a better day.
Now, who's singing the backgrounds? Is Mickey? You think Mickey's harmonizing with himself?
I don't know. I don't know who's doing the backing vocals. I don't know how they do it. I would think that he probably would, but
it sounds like there's some female background vocals in the chorus.
All the time when I can walk in the light, I think I have the answer now. There's no need to fight.
Yeah, there is a female. I forgot. I asked. I forgot it was on this song. She makes an appearance a couple times in the album, and it is one of the backup singers from the unauthorized Rolling Stones.
Ah, that's yeah, because Billy knows April,
right?
The girl. All right, a little bit more of "It's in the Way That You Move Me," which, by the way, we'll play this real quick here. Oh, let the ad go here.
Giant progress, giant dreams, small.
You doing a commercial spot? Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! I like the hoo-hoo. Woo-hoo! The girls sing good.
Yeah.
What do you give this one?
I'm giving this one a half.
All right. I'm giving it a +1.
All right. Nothing wrong with it. I don't know.
It's not my style, but I think it's a good breakup in the album, and
it's a good job of a power ballad. I think it feels like this album. It feels kind of like it has you can tell it's from an '80s hair band, if you will, but it sort of has a little bit of feeling of it's evolved a little bit, and it's got some a little bit of more current rock sound to it, and I think that one just is a little bit sort of maybe caught in the past type of sound, where I don't know, it could have been. I don't know. Maybe it's the production. I'm not sure what it is. I'd give it a half. It's fine.
You are just trashing this album.
Trashing this album? What are you talking about?
All right. Next
first
song,
two songs on +1. What did you give it?
I gave that one a 1.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not my style, but I'll give credit where credit's due. Like I said, they should have put this out as a single when they had on their first album or second album, Damnation, and they would have probably not gotten dropped. They would have probably had a multi-album deal.
Well, I mean, They didn't have it 20 years ago or whenever that was.
I thought I heard that Billy
30.
said that I thought Billy said they did a ballad and they just never recorded it.
They had a ballad on that Damnation, that Evil song, which is kind of a cool ballad. See, that was a cool ballad to me.
Evil's not a ballad.
I think it was kind of their ballad.
That's the one where he's got the snake around his neck while he's playing.
Yeah, and the spiders crawling on her face.
Yeah.
Like that was a cool, it was like they were trying to do a ballad but keep it kind of tough. Yeah, and I like that.
All right.
But
next song, Broken Hearted Daydream, which could have been an American Heartbreak song to me.
I agree. When I heard this one, I was like, oh, damn, this is like, it almost reminds me of, like the drums are so American Heartbreak. It was like what we were doing at the end of American Heartbreak. It reminds me of like Love Your Abuse or something like that.
Right. This is a Billy Rowe song, without a doubt.
Yeah, those drums. I love those drums.
Breakdown.
It's the same old story with the same old rotten ending again. You throw your cards out on the table, but someone's bluffing and wins, you lose again. Love, sometimes you win, but other times you spin out all alone. You got to try it again. Don't let the hard times get you down. Another broken-hearted daydream. Another
There's the girls again.
Woo-hoo! Another broken-hearted daydream. I keep on dreaming.
I don't hear the girls in there.
Oh, maybe that's not girls. That could be Fernie. All right, what do you give this one?
I love this song. I give it a big +1.
All right, I give it a +1 too.
It's the guitar riff. The guitar sounds great in it. The drums have like the fucking snare sounds huge in the song. I think this is Robbie that might be their best song on the album.
You got to try it again. Don't let the hard times get you down. Another broken-hearted daydream. Another kick you down and do it again. Another broken-hearted daydream. I keep on dreaming for the pain to end. You know you got to keep on opening your heart. You got to let the pieces come together right back to the start. You know you got to keep on.
Yeah, this song.
Yeah, see,
it's
he
an
does
American
what
Heartbreak
he did
song.
on this one. He's capturing the AC/DC vibe like he did on Born to Fly as well too, but it's also kind of he's getting that sort of Backyard Babies type of thing in there, a little bit of like the Cheap Trick feel. It's not just straight AC/DC, and so it's a good pull of lots of different influences. I mean I think it's a great song. So
it's an American Heartbreak song.
Yeah, but it's a great Billy song. It's a
Billy Rowe American Heartbreak song.
Yeah, and I think it's and everything. It's good lyrics, good catchy chorus. It's all got a good vibe. So big +1, Billy. Nicely done.
Nice job, Billy. All right, number 6, Inspiration from Desperation.
I dig this one too. This one's kind of got like a Rockets vibe. I feel like this one was one.
Hard as a Rock AC/DC song.
I think this could be a Billy song. I like this one. I don't know.
I'm thinking, I can't really tell if this is a Billy or Fern song.
It goes, that's one of the ones like.
Oh, what happened here?
Why are we all here on this same sinking ship? We follow leaders who just don't give a shit. It's time to rise above and fight while we can. Let's get together, everyone.
What do you give this one?
I give this one a +1. I like it. I think Mick sounds cool. I think he sounds pretty tough on it. You know, he's like kind of restrained. Kind of sounds like the Macho Man a little bit.
I gotta listen a little bit more. I've not heard. I've been giving it a strong listen past it's number 5, so I got to give this a little bit more of a listen.
Fine.
They say it's time for action. Let's take charge while we can. Let's stand together, every woman, every man. All for one. Together we're strong. We're all number one. Inspiration from desperation.
I'm giving it a half.
You're entitled to your opinion. You're shooting from the hip. That guitar riff is killer, man. I don't know. I listen to usually when I listen to music, what catches me is the music and then the melody, vocal melodies, and then like lyrics usually kind of come in last. So if you get a good guitar riff in there, I'm hooked pretty easily. I'm pretty easily baited, but
I like the guitar riff. It just
that song seems like that would be a fun one to play live.
Yeah. The ones I'm giving a half are probably the funnest ones to play, but I'm giving it a half just to keep my rock credibility. All right, next song,
understand.
All Over Again.
It's a brand new day, still climbing that hill, just a grinding away, yeah. It's harder every year, maybe it's just me, ain't got no time left to play, yeah. Live the American dream, I hate to complain, but it ain't what it seems. We got to give all we got to help the ones who cannot break free of these chains. There's no messing around, no fooling around, you got to work to survive. There's no messing around, no fooling around, it's a struggle just to stay alive. All over again, we've been here before, we can do it again. All over again, we know how it goes.
All right, what do you give this one?
I want to give it a little more time. What do you? I love the bass on the start of that song. It's definitely got a Backyard Babies thing going, which I'm digging.
Ain't got no time to be mad, yeah. Live the American dream. I hate to complain, but it ain't what it seems. We got to give all we got to help the ones who cannot break free of these chains. There's no messing around, no fooling around. You got to work to survive.
All right, what do you give it?
I like that one. I think I'm giving it a +1.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, I dig those verses. I feel like that song's interesting to me, and when I'm like, what is All Over Again? I couldn't think of it, and as soon as it started playing, I'm like, oh, that song, yeah. I don't know. I think that bass is kind of the key to that song. It's a little bit. It's not just the Cliff Williams driving or thumping. He's doing a little interesting line under some driving guitars, which I don't know. I dig it. Musically, I think it's a cool song. So.
All right. Well, I'm giving that one I got to give that one a 0. I got to shoot from the hip on that one.
Oh, you give that one a 0, huh?
Yeah, it's not. I don't really like that one.
Yeah, I think a lot. Another thing I do too is I imagine what would be cool to play. What feels like it would be a cool song. So that one's got a vibe where it's like, I don't know. That seems like that'd be it's a fun one. Rocking.
Doesn't really go anywhere for me.
All right.
All right. Next song, She, not to be confused with. Is it the Stars tune?
I don't believe it is.
She. While this is playing, I'm gonna turn on the speakers and I gotta go piss. So hold on.
Okay.
She. Billy Rose song.
Oh yeah.
She wasn't cut out for the ordinary life, 'cause she was built for speed. But she don't know the kind of power she has, don't know the life she could lead. She
another one that could be an American Heartbreak tune. You there, Casey? Oh, Casey,
Can you hear me now?
Casey went to piss.
Sorry,
too.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Did you go pee too?
No, I had the thing muted. Sorry, I just. Yeah, that's totally an American Heartbreak-esque tune for sure. Yeah, I give that one a half. I mean,
really?
I like it. It's another one. I feel like it's already appeared on the album.
I agree with that, but I would give it a +1 because it's catchy. These are the songs that are my favorite ones but they're all Billy Rose songs. So
Yeah, I like those songs too. I just
you think they sound the same?
No, it's not even. It's I think there's just there's something about that one that's I don't know if it feels a little. It feels like it's trying to be a kid's song, but
song. Like
a kid, yeah, and it's trying, and it feels like it doesn't feel age appropriate or something. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? It's got like a, yeah. There's just I don't know what it is. It's good. It's not bad by any means. It wasn't one of my most favorite ones on the
right, Billy
on the album.
Casey thinks this one sucks.
I don't think it sucks.
I'm going to take
It's just not one of my favorites.
I'm going to take it through the song.
Yeah, that's
wait a minute. What is that
breakdown? I think I now I remember. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't like that.
What is it going on here? Oh, I got.
It's like a spoken. It's like a you'll hear it.
Are one of the girls doing that?
Yeah, and it's just like I think they're referencing like Instagram and shit like that.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
I got to hear this. I never got this far.
Hello. Hey, girl. Yes, I saw that.
Oh.
Over 2,000 followers on IG? Oh, hell yes. Girl, you should totally do it. Yeah. I saw that 5,016 views on your...
Yeah, I was going to give it a +1. I got to take... That brings it down to a half.
Yeah, it's like she's singing the shit. I think that's... It's just like it's a little... if it was some 20-year-old kids doing this song... in this day and age, it'd be a fucking killer rock song. You know what I mean? If the Struts or Greta was doing it, you'd be like, oh, awesome. All right, this is cool. But
you call them Greta?
Nothing. Well, when we talked about Greta, Rage, Pilots,
STP,
Purple, Priest,
Lizzie,
Chains, all of them.
Right. I was going to give it a +1. I was going to say it was my favorite song on the album, but yeah, the girl spoken word, it kind of brings it down to a half for me. Sorry.
It just cheeses it up a little bit.
I agree. Good song, but they shouldn't have put that in there, I don't think.
Yeah.
Just got to shoot from the hip, call it like I see it.
I hear you. What's next?
Trying to think of more Eddie Trunkisms that I can throw out there.
You just talk about how you text with Mickey Finn all the time.
Yeah. All right, next song. So you give it a half.
I give it a half.
All right, next song is A Little Bit Easy. I like the beginning part there. That was cool.
I like this one's definitely like a Rockets vibe too. I dig this one.
I'm trying to figure out what Fernie's doing at that beginning there. That was a
little harmonic thing.
That was a cool beginning. The Fernie song.
Yeah, I wonder because it feels like when when you're hearing like the wah chicka chicka wah, you're thinking it's Fernie, but I don't know that.
Is there a talk box in there that Billy's playing talk box?
No, but that rhythm guitar riff just feels so Billy to me. Like if you think about like the shit he loves playing in the Butlers and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like it's so his rhythm guitar is so clean and popping out so nicely that it feels like it's Billy's song. You know what I mean? Like it's the hero.
Billy's Aerosmith.
Yeah.
She was a confident lady.
Yeah, there's the talk box.
and she knew just what she wanted right from the start.
Oh yeah.
She didn't want nothing shady. She was never gonna let a man break her heart. She walked in the room, and you knew one thing for sure. She wouldn't play hard to get, she was a little bit easy. She was a woman, not a whore, but she sure could rock your world. She didn't like wasting time, she was a little bit easy, yeah.
All right, what do you give this one?
I give that one a +1. I like that song.
All right, I will give it a +1 as well.
Yeah, I think it's. I love those kind of songs. You know, those are like fun rock songs to watch.
There's a lot of shit going on in it, and I think all the guitar parts are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just got
to-
a cool. It's got a cool vibe. The lyrics are good. You know what I mean? It's just got a.
I gotta say, I'm giving this album a lot better of a review than I thought I was gonna give it. So kudos, Billy Rowe. I gotta give credit when it's due.
Kudos to all the boys. They all did well.
All the boys.
All the boys. Love them all.
Just didn't need that girl doing the Instagram shit. All right,
We did not need that.
Every time I go, track 10.
This feels like a Billy arrangement for sure.
It's definitely a Billy Rowe.
I don't know if it's his song or not, but
And it's rough. It's an AC/DC song called "Rough Stuff," by the way.
okay.
Give me that rough stuff.
What's that off of?
Let me see if I can find "Rough Stuff." Hold on. I think "Rough Stuff" is on Razor's Edge. Let's see, find "Rough Stuff."
Actually, this song, when I was listening to it,
"Rough Stuff's" on "Blow Up Your Video."
Oh, okay. You're gonna give plenty of little.
All right, that's "Rough Stuff." All right.
Okay.
Which I love that song, by the way. Huh?
I didn't say anything. I was listening.
No. Do you get it? You get what?
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, I get it. Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
that's what we all do. I mean, that's what I do too. So.
Oh, I only rip shit off. So I mean, you find what you like and you just redo it.
I'm feeling kinda slow these days, but the world is moving fast.
Give me that rough stuff.
Anyway, I'm working overtime.
I like that riff.
But I ain't getting nowhere. I love you to the moon and back, but I got to keep my life on track. I'm keeping my feet down on the ground, but I still keep on dreaming. Every time I go, you look at me the same way. But girl, you got to know, I got to leave you anyway. Every time I go away, you tell me that you want me to stay. Every time I go,
That chorus kind of has like a
What's
Angel
that?
City thing going.
What do you say?
I said that chorus kind of has like an Angel City thing going.
A little bit.
yeah. You keep me in line, and that's fine. I couldn't be more proud that you're mine.
Morgan.
You're the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that. Who's playing that?
I don't know.
To me, sometimes I gotta break free. I'll always be the one you can count on. I'll never let you down. Even on the run, I'll keep on working hard all the time just to get up.
This is Mickey Finn's song, apologizing to his wife about when he's got to go on the road with the
See,
boys.
I actually like when I listened to this song, I was kind of wondering if Billy wrote the lyrics.
Huh.
Which might be, maybe you ask him when you interview him tomorrow. This is like one song that popped out in my head, and I was listening to it, and there, because lyrically it feels a little bit different than the rest of the songs, and like I mean, obviously all the lyrics are different in every song, but it felt like it was a different writer, and I thought like I kind of feel like Billy wrote this song, start to finish. I like the song. If he did it, he did a good job.
Billy's love song to his girlfriend, to his wife.
Yeah, and the chorus has this kind of country thing going, like the main chorus. There's a kind of a double chorus happening with the "Every Time I Go," but when it goes into the main one, it goes to that lower register, and it's got a little bit of a modern country feel to it melodically. And
I just can't picture Billy being romantic. Every time I go, tell me that you want me so.
Well, I think that, Billy's written some, Billy was starting to write some lyrics and stuff back in American Heartbreak, and he was especially kind of combing through a lot of them. And I remember hearing a demo that he did, like the post American Heartbreak, just when he was kind of learning how to record shit on Logic, and he did some,
he sang?
Yeah, he sang a whole thing out. It was before he was married to Leola, you know what I mean? And it was just sort of like, he cut a whole demo, and it was good. And it was just kind of like lyrically, I don't know, I feel like I just would be interested to ask him, or interested to hear his answer if you were to ask him if he wrote the lyrics to this one.
Remind me to ask him that.
I will.
All right. All right, what do you give this one?
I give it a +1.
Yeah, I'll give this one a +1 too. I like this one.
Let's get to the solo. Let's hear what happens there.
All right. I think this is the most. I think actually this is the best written song on the album.
It's a great tune. I mean, it's right up there with
Stairway
Broken Hearted Daydream.
Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. That's a well-written song. That's a good pop song. Good job, Billy.
I like it. 2 more, pal.
I'm a little bit jealous.
A little bit jealous, yeah. I understand. That ship is taking off for the Stardom. They left you behind.
Yep.
Well, there's always Feather. Well, there's always the Butler. Well,
there's always suicide.
There's always fishing.
That's true. All right. Smoky Ebony, which I'm going to guess is about smoking the dope.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of like a slow burn type of jam. I think this is like their evil for this album. I think it's like they're kind of a...
No, this is their Bullfrog Pond.
Okay. Yeah, that guitar sounds killer.
What's that?
Billy's guitar sounds killer.
Yeah.
Smooth as a dream. The color was ebony, smoky ebony.
Yeah, I could do without mixed vocals on this, but the music's great.
Give it a little more.
What?
I said, let's give it a little more.
When you see a guitar picker's dream, and boy did her friend Ford say she was everything. Smoky ebony, played in the key of D. Slickest acid deep in music. Smoky ebony, standing on Major G. Let me let me hear you sing.
All right, guitars are great. The guitars sound fucking fantastic in this song. Vocals, melody, I'm not crazy about, so I'm giving it a half.
All right, I'm actually giving it a +1. I think it sounds like a good. I think it's true to.
It's Jetboy.
A Jetboy tune. They always kind of have a swampy number.
It is true to Jetboy. I think, I don't know, something about the smoky ebony line that doesn't really drive me crazy, doesn't really do it for me. But it's a decent enough song, but I'm giving it a half.
All right.
A little bit more. I definitely love the guitar part.
When it's time to make her sing, make her scream. She's the darkness in the night. She's the brightest sunlight. But you got to play her right. Play with a soul. Smoky ebony. Played in the key of E. Blink is acid deep in music. Smoky ebony. Sliding on into G. Give me that, let me hear you sing.
Yeah, give me that, let me hear you scream. That doesn't do it for me. But that music's great. So
All
give
right.
it a +1.
You are giving it a +1.
No, I'm giving it a half.
Okay, yeah, I give it a +1.
Only because I don't really like the chorus that much.
I hear you.
All right. Final song on the album. Can you hear me? Final song on the album.
No more songs after this one.
Then we'll tally it up.
That's right. The big tally. The big
This song
reveal.
is called Party Time!
Yep.
Billy Rowe song.
I think so.
I rise and shine every morning. I kiss my babies and the rat race begins.
All right, hold on a second.
Now this sounds exactly like Born to Fly, like
Exactly.
melody-wise.
Some days it seems so easy.
All right, and here's Party Time.
I rise and shine every morning.
All right, let's listen to Born to Fly again.
Some days it seems so easy.
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, pretty much. In fact, the first time I heard it, I thought, like, are they doing like a
remake of it?
Yeah.
You know what else that is? It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Michael Jackson tune.
Oh, yeah.
I rise and shine every morning.
Again, the guitar tones are fucking great, though. Billy's got a great guitar tone.
I kiss my babies and the rat race begins. And I can grind to earn my paycheck. But I don't
I think somebody should have called Mick out and said, man, that's the same, you're doing the same phrasing as Born to Fly.
live to work, the countdown begins. My time again.
Then it changes, it gets good here.
I punch the clock and I'm a free man. My time again. I punch the clock and I'm a free man. Party time, it's quitting time. It's all about the weekend. Party time, this is my time for rock and rolling again.
All right, what do you give this one? Oh, breaks back down.
I'm working hard.
All right, what do you give this one?
I'm still sort of undecided. I'd like to get through a little bit more. What are you giving it?
I'll get through a little bit more.
To stay 1 minute more. The clock strikes 5 and then I'm done. My time again. I punch the clock.
Well, I can't give Born to Fly a +1 and give a song that sounds exactly like Born to Fly a half.
Do whatever you want.
Party time. It's quitting time. It's all about.
I guess I got to give it a +1.
Is there I think I'm going to give it a half. Is there a breakdown? I want to see if there's something that's going to happen that's going to sway me towards a 1. Just sick and tired.
Oh, you're right. It is. But
Almost
I like Fernie's solo though. It's very simple solo, which makes it better.
Billy's solo.
Oh, you think that's Billy playing this solo? You're probably
I mean,
right.
it's almost the exact same solo as Sick and Tired. Rewind it to the beginning solo. I mean, it's very similar.
You're right. That is Billy, isn't it? I think it sounds better. It's better than Born to Fly.
I'm kind of going that too. I want to hear what happens after the solo.
Party time, it's quitting time. It's all about the weekend.
All right, friends. Billy, you ain't gonna get a more detailed review of the new Jetboy album from any other podcast.
No, sir.
Nobody goes.
And I swayed. It swayed me. I gave it a +1.
Nobody goes deeper into it. We call it like we see it. Got to shoot from the hip, man.
I think the only thing this song could have had, like, this should have been their one with like just some huge gang vocals in it, you know.
I think that's a.
If you want to write an epic sing along, you gotta wait. Hang on. I got a squeaky thing too now. Keep track with your desk.
I think that's a quality song, actually. I think.
Yeah, I like it. I +1'd it.
The only thing is, it's too much like Born to Fly, but it's better than Born to Fly.
I think I agree with you. Yeah. I don't know. I think that one, if they had the bigger gang vocal on that would have been my only critique of it.
Let's see. Okay, let's tally them up here.
All right, I'll tally me up. I've been keeping score too.
Say one. So you give it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half.
I haven't.
Wait a minute. What did you give number 12? You moved it from.
I moved it to a 1.
Ooh.
The last song. I let me count this again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and a half out of 12.
10 and a half. That's what I got for me.
That's a pretty damn good review.
I think it's a good record. I told you I thought it was a good record.
So I give it a.
We'll see what you give it.
1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I got you
and a half, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a half out of 12.
I got you at 9 and a half. Let me count. Maybe I messed up here.
Maybe I counted it wrong. 2 idiots. 1, 2, 3,
4 and a half, 5, 6, 7 and a half. Oh, 8 and a half. You're right.
Yeah, 8 and a half out of 12. I think mine's a better scientific review, but they're both decent reviews.
Yeah, I think they're both good reviews.
All right, well, good job.
I mean,
Billy
you give a 0 on one.
Yeah, I don't.
You had to squeeze a 0 in there.
Well, no,
on a song that I gave a 1.
I did not have to squeeze a 0 in. I had my good reasons for squeezing a 0 in.
You did.
But I think 8.5 out of 12 is a decent review. I'm surprised how high I gave it.
Yeah, I think it's a very good review. I hope that Billy's happy with your review of it.
Again, I say, nobody will do a more detailed album review than what we just did of the new Jetboy
your
album.
listeners got a full... I got to say, a lot of albums, your track-by-track reviews are like, that's my listening to the album, and I'll decide that I like it. That I've definitely have listened to your review of the Judas Priest album more times than just the Judas Priest album.
All right, whatever that means.
I love your review of the Judas Priest album. That's the greatest review show you've ever done, album review, in my opinion. You were very excitable on that one.
Apparently, you didn't hear the Iron Maiden album review.
The Coma Souls or whatever that was a couple of years ago?
Yes. Empire of whatever it was called. You didn't hear that one? That was a good one.
Did I do that one with you?
No, I
can't
did
remember.
that one by myself. That was I got into that one too. Well, I think we gave it a pretty detailed review, and I think we went deep. We geeked out on the new Jetboy album.
We sure did, and I admire your honesty in that. You could have been very easy for you to just begrudgingly.
I could have
trash it.
I could have trashed it and said all kinds of things that that I was feeling about being heard, about not being asked to be in the new Jetboy. But I think they did a quality record. I gotta say.
Yeah, well, they're going through bass players like American Heartbreak went through drummers.
I wonder why.
I don't know, but I mean, they had. Well, after you left, you were their longest running bass player besides probably ever, besides maybe Todd Crew.
I would like to ask Billy why he didn't ask me back.
You should.
You know why, right?
I mean, something about Alice Cooper. According to you, I think it's Alice Cooper, the Alice Cooper wheelchair incident, and maybe like drinking beers at practice or something.
Kicking beers over on the stage.
Oh yeah, making a mess. Man, well,
that could be it.
Hey, it's their band, you know what I mean? So maybe your role should have been more of like a hang back and
I probably should have stood back and let them be the stars.
Right,
I can't help it. When I'm playing, I get into playing and I got to move.
That's why I like playing with you. That's why I always share the stage with you on your side when possible.
I got to shoot from the hip.
Hey, that's how I roll too. I like it. We might not play tight or clean, but
I can't help it. I get into it. I got to jump around. It's not like I'm trying to be I'm not trying to be the one out front. It's just I get into it and I can't help but jump around.
I hear you. I don't understand how people can't jump around and rock the fuck out. That's what's so great about Featherwitch. You know what I mean? We're all fucking.
I can't stand back by. I mean, I guess I could if I had to. If they told me, listen. But that's the thing. They never did tell me to stand back by the amp. They said, do what you want to do. Go crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I was being myself. Now, if I was told, okay, we want you to just stand back there by the amp, I probably would have done it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And maybe that has nothing to do with it. I don't know. We're just guessing. But I do think that you're their longest running bass player, which is worth mentioning, even though it was later in years. Because then after you, they had their old bass player back for a little bit, and then they had
I think it could be the fact that I called them the Jetboys.
You well, you know what I mean?
But I call us the Feather Witches.
Some people get your humor and some people don't.
Yeah.
It's a little bit, your humor is definitely a little bit jabbing at the things you love. But but hey, well, I know that about you, so it's just like you should take it for what it is.
All right. You want to close out with a song before we get out of here?
You want to play an old Jetboy song? I don't know. What do you want to?
I don't know if I have any old Jetboy songs.
My favorite Jetboy song of all the Jetboy songs was Rock and Roller. That, in my opinion, that should have been their video release for their second song. I think they would have had a much bigger album. That was right around the time of.
That's on Damnation.
Yeah, that was right around the time of Appetite for Destruction and some of the harder stuff, Skid Row. And I think sometimes the poppy shit is great. I love the pop, but you know what I mean? It's like you need a little bit of sleaze in your rock, or I do at least, All
right, so we'll close out with a Jetboy song, Rock and Roller. How can we reach you, Casey Crenshaw?
Oh, you can find me in the Rock and Roll Geek Show group on Facebook, which Michael did not create, but he does condone.
And approve people.
Or approve. That's it. Facebook, Instagram. I don't know. There's no reason to find me.
Yeah, fuck it.
I'm not doing anything.
All right, you can find this show at rockandrollgeek.com. Thank you, everybody, for the donations. Please keep the donations coming, because without your donations, this show would die a horrible, putrid, stench-filled death. And if you don't have the money to donate, you can
call Eddie Trunk.
Call Eddie Trunk on this volume show and do what you got to do. All right. Good job on the new Jetboy album, Billy Rowe, and
very good job.
The rest of the boys. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm interviewing Billy.
That's right. Do you remember what you're asking him?
First time ever being on the Rock and Roll Geek Show. Of all the years I've been playing with Billy, he's never came on the podcast.
Really?
No, never.
We'd not even just in the van or anything. You couldn't go back and find him on an episode with a quick
talking in the background or something.
Right.
He's never actually come on. I've never had a conversation with Billy Rowe on the podcast.
Yeah, they can't all be radio guys like you and me.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be having a conversation with him.
Well, there you go. Don't forget to ask him about Every Time I Go and whether or not he wrote those lyrics.
I will. All right.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, Casey. I really appreciate it, friend.
Thank you, my friend. See you soon.
And here is from Damnation. This song is called Rock and Roller. Thanks for listening, friends. We'll talk to you soon. Rock and Roller. New Jetboy sounds better than this.
Well, it breaks in. This is their jam. This is them just messing around in the studio.
All right, I'm going to piss while this is playing.
It's a rock and roll geek train wreck.